happen. Now people are calling this managed democracy, that once an incumbent is in power in Africa, however much they may tend to try and express their desire to run a proper democracy, it is still impossible to remove an incumbent, or rather almost impossible. Bwana Poghisio, do you believe that that is the way it goes, that once you're an incumbent, you are definitely not the underdog?
Fred, good morning. And this is one of the things that can almost be concluded to be true in Africa, almost be concluded to be true. Very few occasions where an incumbent without term limits has, an incumbent gives up. There are few examples of countries where that has happened, very few examples. But the majority of the African democracies, there you'll find it's very difficult to remove an incumbent who is hell-bent on staying in power. Even for us here with 2 terms, it's not easy. The tendency is to make it possible for the incumbent to continue. And I think that's where we have to think about. So let me use the opportunity to congratulate President Museveni for his 7th term, and to wish him well. We are under all obligation to say that, because he's the president of Uganda. And I live on the border, you know, and I go to Uganda quite a bit. So let me use the opportunity to say congratulations and to wish him success. I sympathize with the opposition young man, Bobi Wine. I mean, he put up a very spirited battle. I think, is very popular. He's got opportunities, especially in urban areas and areas around the lake. So, should not give up. I think it becomes stronger every time. The one thing which I observed about those elections actually was, why did the Ugandans keep away from that election? That's a big question. 21 million registered voters, and only 11 million voted. That did not add up completely. That is about 50%, yeah? And it was definitely tailor-made for this win. And under those circumstances, Kenyans must consider themselves lucky that even with our differences and with our issues, we haven't gotten to the level where there's total shutdown of communication. We haven't gotten there. So at least we're able to communicate and even do parallel tallying and so on and so on. But this is what Uganda was trying to avoid. It was very interesting for me, having been the minister in communications, and for me to see that the communication authority itself is the one trying to explain why they're shutting down.
Do you think it's possible in Kenya? Because that's the biggest fear, that it's happened in Uganda, it happened in Tanzania, so the internet could actually be shut down in Kenya as well.
I tell you, I think that will be pushing too far for Kenyans. Kenyans they live on this thing. I mean, you can imagine people had to leave the country. If their business depended on internet, they had to leave the country. Because if you shut down for 3 days, some people, their job is completely done. So, and so we could not even get media coverage, because proper media coverage, we had to wait for a while to get information. So I don't think that, be ill-advised, like our communication authority, our CA, will be the one explaining to us why they're shutting the internet. I don't think so. So yeah, while Ugandans are reeling from that, it's probably time to you realize that the rural Uganda, that's north of the lake region, was all yellow, completely yellow. And only the region around the lake, Lake Victoria, and a few urban areas were red, which means that Museveni's campaign slogan, which was protecting the gains, I think he was able to sell it to the rural areas pretty well. people are saying, if we don't vote this man back, how are we going to protect the gains? So that was a good message for the Ugandans. So it's difficult for us as Kenyans to understand how that was done, and there's very little complaints from the rural areas.
Right.
You know, so
it's interesting the psyche of the population.